problem in September 2008. The Fed was trained to think of bank runs as something that looks like this, where the depositors come to the bank and they ask for their money and you go nuts and you bring the cash in and that takes care of it. Well, what happens when you have a bank run that's happening on stuff like this? The panic is the men and women who are going, oh my God, what are we going to do? They're staring at the screen. The Fed wasn't set up to do that, but it had to learn how to do it. So, sorry, I keep clicking, but I do have the things here. Ben Bernanke at the Board of Governors, the president of the New York Fed, who was Tim Geithner at the time, who became a Treasury Secretary, and then the current Treasury Secretary at the time, Hank Paulson, basically sat down and rewrote the banking laws and said, okay, there's a lot of these companies that are in trouble. They sure look like banks to us. The Fed has the power to bail them out. Except for one, they decided they didn't have the authority for it. I wonder if anybody's heard of it. Anybody heard of it? Come to be a very famous name. Lehman Brothers. They decided that this company, Lehman Brothers, they didn't really have the authority to do it, so they let it fail, which was probably the biggest mistake that the Federal Reserve did during the financial crisis. Because when Lehman Brothers failed, everybody else in the financial system said, who's next? If the Fed isn't going to bail out Lehman Brothers, who are they not going to bail out next time? So after Lehman Brothers failed, that's when the Fed went in with both feet. The Board of Governors announced, look, you want to declare yourself a bank? Raise your hand and we'll call you a bank. And that's what they did. Pretty much any financial institution under the sun that wanted to become a bank became a bank, and now is under the supervision of the Fed. And that's why, I was looking up there, forgot it's not there, that's why that line about macroprudential regulation is so important now. Because in a sense, the Fed has responsibility for the entire financial system by invoking that kind of power, by saying, we're in charge of making sure the whole system stays stable. Well, once you've defined that, where does your authority end?